What's it gonna be?
You are now listening to the
Hyrule Podcasters!
Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of
Hyrule Podcasters!
I'm your co-host Ben,
And I'm your co-host Pat.
and this week we're bringing you something very special, one of our side quest episodes.
Side quest!
We'll be having a discussion with the brothers from the Sacred
Realms Podcast! Yeah.
Welcome. How y'all doing?
How's it going, guys?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Great.
Yeah, we're doing
Very
real
good.
great. Now, one thing we just thought we'd get here off the top is just pronunciations of your names, so that way I don't butcher them for the entirety of the show.
That's so funny. I'm sure that, well, you've probably listened to at least all of their Ocarina season, right?
You would think, but I'm just a very conscious person at
But-
this point.
Yeah, at this point, after our last interview. So, how do you two pronounce your names?
So his is real hard, M-A-T-T. That's Matt, right? Not a lot of people pronounce it that way,
It's not Mott. It's Matt. Yeah, just the normal way.
Oh, I was gonna go with
Matt.
Matt. I'm glad.
Matt.
I'm glad we
All
cleared that up.
Glad we're all there.
and I would be Lyndon, as in El Presidente Lyndon B. Johnson.
Were you named after LBJ?
Absolutely not.
Okay, yeah.
Absolutely not. I didn't see that.
I
didn't see that.
No
coming.
idea. I've asked the parents several times where that really came from, and I don't think that I've gotten a satisfactory answer. So your guess is as good as mine, guys.
Got it.
Cool. Let's just make some stuff up.
I like it.
Hey, go for it.
All right. So while I'm coming up with origin stories for your names, Ben, what are we talking to Matt and Lyndon about today?
A bunch of things, including Zelda, Ocarina of Time, starting a podcast, and how they seem to book such awesome guests on their shows all the time, which is something we're particularly interested in.
The secrets of the industry.
There it is.
It's crazy. We're brothers. Two sets of brothers that do
Yeah.
video game podcasts.
Are you guys Rick and Morty fans?
Ooh.
Of course.
Yes, I've watched it
Yeah,
all.
so your two brothers thing that you're just doing.
Two brothers.
Yes. That's all I could think of that entire time you were saysaying that. I was like, it's two brothers.
Every time I
and
say
they're
it.
doing a thing, and there are aliens.
And clearly just making it up as they
absolutely.
go
Love it.
along.
Love it.
No, so I was asking, just out of curiosity, how long have you guys been doing your show?
So we are coming up on what would be considered, I think, about the year anniversary of the idea of the show.
Mhm. And then we recorded for a while before I even tried to edit the episodes. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I should have tried to edit the episodes before we recorded 2 games.
Yeah.
Anyway,
We made some mistakes in that early part in terms of we're like, oh, we're going to get really far ahead. And then that turned into be a huge mistake because it was like, oh, the audio is terrible and we have to redo everything.
and so we got to play some. We still haven't told the audience the whole story about
Yeah,
that.
we
but
will at some point. Yeah.
It's been about a year that we've been doing it. And it's been, what,
March
8 months since we've been putting them out?
Yeah, March 14th is when our inaugural
7 months.
episode drops.
Which is crazy because our inaugural episode dropped, I believe, in late March. I'm pretty. It was springtime as well, so there must have been something in the air,
Wow. There was probably was it last year?
Yeah, it was. So Matt and I started talking about this in around Christmas time of 20, and then will you show that to me again, Matt?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looks like our first episode went live on
April 7th.
April 7th. So
Oh, yeah. I just pulled it up in my podcast catcher. Yeah,
Wow.
April 7th.
I
Yeah.
mean, to be fair, there literally was something in the air.
Called COVID.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, not to dance around it anymore. Let's just go for it. I feel like Ben called me like, "Hey, let's do this thing because it's a way to connect and have fun during a very isolated time.
And we're both going stir crazy and need to talk to somebody and like generally do something fun with our lives.
Well, and not only just somebody, but somebody who is most likely within your bubble,
Yeah, exactly.
AKA a relative.
You know, that was one thing I was noticing looking at looking over the podcast in the catcher is that, I mean, you all have pushed an episode a week since that time.
We have been every Wednesday since March 7th or April 7th.
Oh my
gosh. We took breaks.
Yeah, I was like, nah, I need a couple weeks to gather
to be fair,
myself.
To be fair, our Link's Awakening season was more or less a break. So what we ended up doing for Link's Awakening, because that was when Lyndon's wife was about to have the baby, we did a lot of pre-recording, so we would do 2 or even 3 episodes a week. So we recorded all of Link's Awakening in the span of 3 or 4 weeks, and that was like 8 episodes.
Yeah,
and recorded all of it, and then we had like a 6-week break when Lyndon was dealing with baby and all that stuff. That he was still doing the editing and then publishing on the Wednesday, but we had already done all the recording work, so it was just there was a little bit of a break. But yeah,
you know, I just listened to the Catfish's Maw episode. And there's a lot of maybe might come out any time now going on around that time, I think.
Which is funny because I think that episode actually aired the week after baby had really arrived, but it had been recorded like 4 weeks in advance. So that was definitely surreal for me, like pushing those episodes
and you're
out.
like, this might, I might have a child right now, but I don't know. Back to the video game.
Right, exactly. But it all worked out. We got it done. And then I don't know.
That's a great season.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate it. That one was a lot of fun. Then, of course, so we've been consistent ever since that. But one of the things Matt and I always talk about is that at some point we're going to do Breath of the Wild.
Ooh.
And whenever we come around to that, we're just going to have to tackle it so much differently than we do. And because it's just such a different game. And so when that happens, I think we're going to take like a several month hiatus, and because it's a lot of that is just playing the game, right? Like Breath of the Wild is not a game that we want to like rush through week over week over week, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, we would take like a several month hiatus and then record as we hit milestones throughout that time, and then kind of come back swinging with like hey, hope you enjoyed our time off. Here's like, Sacred Realms back at it with Breath of the Wild. So don't know exactly when we're going to do that, but it will happen at some point.
Are you going to let people vote on Breath of the Wild anytime soon? Or are you going to kind of keep that in your back pocket?
We are so sorry to our Patreons, or to our patrons. We actually, whenever we decide that Breath of the Wild is like it's time to do that, we're kind of just gonna the voting is gonna get taken out of the equation a bit. We're just gonna be like, hey guys, I know we usually let y'all vote on this thing, but like, this is the time, like we got to do this now.
We need to do this before Breath of the Wild 2 comes out, and we got to like take a hot minute to do it.
Because that's the other thing, and that's hard because it's like, who even knows when Breath of the Wild 2 is coming out exactly at this point? But the last thing I want to be doing is playing Breath of the Wild and Breath of the Wild 2 at the same time. So
yeah, I think Patrick and I probably have that in our future. Because, I mean, to not play that game when everybody is playing that game is kind of like, well, do you want to be a business or do you not want to be a business? Like,
well, and that's why we're playing Ocarina right now. We were supposed to do Link's Awakening next, and we fleshed this out some more on some other episodes, but it was like, hey, everybody's about to be playing Ocarina. Let's play it with them. And I had to put my favorite Zelda game on the back burner. Luckily, I've been listening to you guys play it, so that's fun.
Well, hey, I'm glad you've enjoyed this
vicariously.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, because that was really. So when Linda and I really started talking about doing the podcast, and we knew we wanted to do the format that we're doing, to play an episode or play a game and just kind of review it bit by bit. We really kind of struggled with where to start that journey, and it was hard, not because we didn't know what we wanted to play, but because we wanted to play all of them, and also you have to have the conversation of, do you want us to do it chronologically? How do you want to do it? Like just 3D, just 2D, blah, 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 blah. And so that's through those conversations is where we started out with like, I think it would be really great just from a popularity standpoint. The most people would be interested in Ocarina of Time just because it's the most popular Zelda game. And that's how we kind of got onto, well, then where do we go from there? Like what game do we play next? And that's where we got the idea to let our patrons vote. And so it's kind of like, that's a good way for community engagement and a good way to keep everyone involved and for them to feel like, oh, I have some kind of say in what's going on with this podcast that I like. And so it kind of all stemmed from that conversation. So yeah,
and that's a great way to just shirk all responsibility for decision making too.
Also true.
I love it.
Well,
no, that's a really good idea.
It's not like there was no risk, right? I mean, they could have like if we had a bunch of jerk patrons, they could have very easily like voted like Zelda 2 as the first thing we play, right? It's like, oh no, but
that would have been awful.
It turns out they have better taste than that.
I'm actually
they actually want us to enjoy the game that we play.
Yeah, I've been real disappointed like hearing the week to week that. I was like, oh, as a Link to the Past, has been creeping into the conversation more and more with, you all, and you always know how the voting has been going. I got real disappointed because I was like, oh, just like if someone would have pushed 1 or 2 on you, it would have been enjoyable to hear the pain in your voices as you had
he loves it. That's why you like that game, because you like that it hurts.
I have The Adventure of Link currently ranked above the original Legend of Zelda in our playthroughs. It's just different. It's different. It's fun. I don't know. I mean, there are like 2 game
I respect
mechanics.
your decision.
Thank you. There are 2 game mechanics in that game that are frustrating, and it primarily has to do with specifically like how you have to attack certain enemies and how there are just some things that are hidden on random tiles. But outside of that, I think it's a really great game. But that's a different discussion for a different day. One thing.
Just gonna leave it there.
Yeah. One thing that I did notice, speaking of your Patreon, is y'all do a really cool like trading card concept. I was just wondering if you might flesh that out or chat a little bit more about kind of what that is.
So I'm a graphic designer and digital illustrator by trade. Before I was ever doing podcasting, I was doing graphic design as my day job, and as a side hustle, I do posters for a few different of the big pop culture art galleries. And that was mostly like movie and TV based, and every now and again it would be game themed. But so when we started doing the podcast and we knew that we were going to have a Patreon associated with it, I was trying to think of benefits that would be interesting for people, who were in that. It's like, what would be a really cool thing that's unique that nobody else really has? And so I got the idea because at the time I was kind of clearing some stuff out of my closet, and I found my old binder of Pokemon cards. And I was thinking to myself, man, it would be just so cool if I found a way to do Zelda themed trading cards for the podcast, and they would be kind of correspond to the games we were playing at the time. And it turned out that there's like a site. I did like 5 minutes of research, told me that there's a site that I guess everyone who makes bootleg Magic the Gathering cards goes to.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and it's not that expensive at all. So yeah, I mean, that's just kind of where that stemmed from. And honestly, I think the people who are in our Patreon for the most part, most of them are all in there for those trading cards. I would say they're all at that kind of.
Oh, sick!
Yeah, so we got a loyal group of people who like to get those every month, and Matt and I unfortunately got a little behind on the on the latest batch, but finally got through those, and we're back on track now. But yeah, I mean, those are a lot of fun to do. Just like artistically, it's an interesting challenge to kind of come up with a new one every month.
Yeah, they're wonderful. I really like the green one that has the island coming out of the screen with the egg on top.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
I really like the Majora's Mask poster. I was way too late in listening to you all. I really feel like to have delved in here to find those, but man, it's so cool.
Very cool stuff.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I made that one because I had done a 7 poster series last year, and it was like my 7 favorite games in the Zelda series, and so I already had the deal was I was not repeating any because they were all controller based, like that Majora's Mask poster. It was all a setting on top of whatever controller that game was played on, and I didn't want to repeat controllers within the series, and I had Ocarina of Time, so I didn't want to do Majora's Mask because it was like, oh, well, then I'm repeating one controller and none of the others. It would have been weird. But enough time went by, and I was just like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to do Majora's Mask, and if it's like a problem for anybody, then I guess don't buy it. But I really want to make this poster. So,
sometimes you just got to go with your heart.
And I'm happy that I did. I'm really proud of that piece.
Yeah, it's a really nice piece. Really nice piece.
Yeah, I design our logos, but I am not by any means a graphic designer by trade. I've always had a thing for visual art, but I went the music route instead, and it meant that I got to design my album covers and posters for live shows that I threw, which I've done a lot of.
Well, you're kind of the opposite of me then, because I was always interested in music. But kind of was more of a visual designer by profession. And so getting into podcasting, right, it was one of those things where it was like kind of just stumbling around in the dark, trying to figure out the whole audio editing of everything, like just highly amateur, and
it sounds good.
I
I mean, it does. You do a good job with it.
Well, thank you. There was a whole lot of like pain and anguish wrapped up in trying to make it sound good the first time. So.
Put your blood, sweat, and tears into it, and
I mean, hey,
you gave it your best.
I'll tell him, and I don't compliment him often. If you guys, as you guys are listeners of the show, know I don't compliment him often, but he's done a very good job on the audio editing. So, pick that up quickly. Well done, Lyndon.
Good job, Lyndon. Yeah, there's such a wide range of audio quality in something like podcasting because it's an approachable forum, for anyone who can talk and has a microphone, which we all do at this point. And from the perspective of a self-taught, long-time audio engineer, it sounds good.
Yeah, it does. It sounds real good.
So I was listening to the Eagles Tower episode of your Link's Awakening season, and you had Max Nichols on as a guest. His insight as a level designer is just wonderful. That level in particular has a unique design, and his input really had me thinking about dungeon layouts in general in a new way.
No, Max is incredible. And if you don't follow Max on Twitter, you really need to go do that because he frequently has highly insightful Twitter threads on like a variety of game design topics. He's really a genius, and I love hearing his perspective every time we have him on. So Max, and you actually mentioned this earlier, we're kind of spoiled with a rotating cast of really wonderful guests who will who we don't really have a hard time getting to come on whenever we want them to. And that's all kind of happened just very coincidentally. I knew all those people before getting into the podcast for the most part. Not personally, but I knew. So like Kylie, we have Kylie on all the time. Yep. She and her husband, obviously she's a big time video game merch photographer now, right. But before any of that was happening, she and her husband had pledged on my very first Kickstarter for my first ever poster. This is like 12 years ago. Mm-hmm. And they had just like followed all my art ever since then. And one day, I go and I check out her profile and see the kind of stuff that she creates. And so hit her up to talk to her about it. I was like, oh, you do excellent photography and all this other stuff. And so we kind of just became like online friends in that way because we were both creating work that each other was interested in. And then once it came time to, start the podcast, we wanted to have people with informed perspectives on. I had several friends like her that, Nintendo Fangirl is another one. Like, we were introduced for the first time via my artwork, and and the conversation develops from there. Max is the same way, where Link's Awakening is one of his. I think maybe he says it's his favorite game of all time.
Yeah, he clearly loves that game.
Yeah, and so when I had done some Link's Awakening art and posted it to Twitter a while back, I see him, commenting on that Twitter thread, and I looked at his profile and see that he's a game designer at Bungie. And Matt and I, we've played like several lifetimes of lesser life forms in Destiny.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
hundreds and hundreds of hours.
Yeah, and so when I saw that he worked at Bungie, I was just like, sweet, follow. And yes, and so just kind of chatted every now and again, just introduced myself, and that began a dialogue with him. And then once it was time to fire up a podcast about Zelda, I was like, well, I know at least one person I'm hitting up about that, and he was more than happy to come on. So
that's so cool. That's so cool.
So basically what you should take away from this is that Lyndon does all the networking, all the audio editing, and most of the planning. And I'm just here to give snarky commentary and some decent back and forth.
You're the talent.
And
You're the talent.
you're the
Exactly.
talent.
You're the talent.
I like these guys. They appreciate me,
Precisely.
Lyndon.
Well, speaking of the talent, I mean, can you let us know where was the talent on last week's episode? I was shocked when I logged in and
yes.
there was no Matt.
I know. So I work in my actual job is in e-commerce and logistics, and one of my main client was having just a massive shipping event. We were trying to ship over 1.1 million units of their product in 2 weeks, and so I was supervising the night shift at one of our warehouses.
Got it.
So I had been working the previous week during the day shift at the warehouse, and they needed someone to supervise the night shift. So I got signed up for it. So as much as Lyndon likes to say I dipped out on a hard episode that I didn't want to do, that was absolutely not the case. I would have much rather been here talking about that episode than doing the night shift in a distribution center.
Luckily, one of my best friends for ever since college for like the last 14, 15 years lives, I kid you not, 8 houses down the street from me now.
Amazing.
Wow.
So he and I mean, we see each other like once a week anyway. So he's a big Zelda fan as well and is more than happy to dip onto the podcast every now and again and lend a little extra perspective. So
He did a really, that was
That's
Mike,
great.
did that right?
yeah, Mike.
He did a really nice job, I thought, filling in. So watch yourself, Matt.
I agree.
Talent can be
I agree.
replaced.
I actually listened to the episode and I texted him later and I was like, Mike, you did a fantastic job. Thank you for filling in. Don't get used to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. A little ominous at the end there. I once worked at a bar where they called a staff meeting and all 7 of us in the front of the house sat down and they opened the discussion with, "You are all replaceable."
Oh, man. That sounds like a fun meeting.
Yep.
And you were like,
Well, see,
we will
They were
all
like,
unionize.
every single one of yeah, we will all unionize like we get paid on the books. I mean, we were working at a bar in Queens and they were like, there is bright-eyed talent that gets off a bus every day in Manhattan whose dreams are going to be crushed within 2 weeks and need this job more than you. Wow.
Oh, man.
Wow. To be fair, I knew I was safe. They told me that they were going to say all that to the rest of the staff. I was certainly a favorite, but it's still, they were like, all of you, and made some eye contact with me. I don't know if they just wanted a real reaction from me, but they got it. Whoo! Nobody got fired though. It's kind of boring. I was hoping.
Oh, man. That's like
hoping that
all bark and no bite. But seriously, welcome to the 9 to 5 grind, man. Holy cow.
Yeah, I know. For real. It was mad rude. They just liked scaring us every now and then, I think.
That's one of the things about doing this with family and especially siblings, though, is like, I don't feel like any of us 4 are in a position where we could just turn to one of the others and be like, off with your head. You're out, right? Like,
Right. For better or worse. I mean, we're lucky. We just had a conversation the other day about how, despite the challenges we've faced while doing this, the main goal that we set at the very beginning was it has to be fun. And if it's not fun, we have to completely reevaluate.
Right.
And we were like, we've been doing this for 2 seasons and we haven't bitten each other's heads off, I think were Ben's exact words. And far from it. I mean, it's been fun. And putting that as the focal point,
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think like one of the things that Lyndon and I really capitalized on when we started working together was like, we just have fun shooting the shit with each other. So let's just do that about Zelda. And if people want to listen in and enjoy that, that's really all that matters, right? We're all here to have fun. We're all here because we love Zelda, and like all we want to do is just talk about that. And it's really nice that we get to do that with each other. But then we've got a couple of 100 friends every week who dial in and listen in and sometimes join in on the discussion. Right? You take that microcosm of sibling banter and you kind of expand that to your group of 200 closest friends every week. Right?
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. Speaking of talking amongst yourselves about video games, could you tell our audience, since we're on Ocarina of Time right now, could you talk a little about your experience with that game?
yeah. So I think obviously well, we are both 90s kids. You know, I was born in 90 and Matt in 93. So Ocarina of Time was the first main Zelda release that either of us were really old enough to be cognizant of it. Really, like, so Link's Awakening came out after I was born, and so did Link to the Past, I think. But like, I was so young, I would have never known the difference. But when Ocarina of Time came out, yeah, that was like the first game that ever released that I was aware that it was releasing on a specific day and I wanted to get it on that day. And so like, and obviously it was such a big part of our childhoods after that. I mean, we both replayed that game many times. So we went into that season knowing that we had a fair amount of rose-colored glasses about that game, but also trying to be as objective about it as possible. And I think kind of what we came away from the season thinking is that, a few notable bits aside, the game really is still worthy of a lot of the hype that it gets and a lot of the status that it has in the history of games. Like we both enjoyed our time with that game, replaying it with a critical eye just as much as we ever had before, I think.
Yeah, I think
Wonderful.
I think I have to echo everything you just said, Lyndon. And what I have found is that, you know, as I've gone back as an adult to play Ocarina of Time, it doesn't lose much. It doesn't lose much. It does lose some, but it doesn't lose very much. It feels less large now that games like Skyrim or The Witcher or other, you know, really open world games have come out. Like I remember when I was a kid playing Ocarina of Time, it felt grand and it was just like, it felt like a huge game. And now I play it and I'm like, oh, like each area I can traverse is, you know, a couple thousand, you know, steps or whatever, and it doesn't feel too big anymore. But like overall, it's still just the pacing of the game is so well done. The story is great. The adventure, the mechanics, you know, pioneering. I think Mario, we talked about this in one of the episodes. Mario 64 was like the first real big 3D game that Nintendo did to pioneer stuff like the Z targeting controls and things like that. But Zelda took that and built on it in such a unique way because it's such a combat focused game. Like you had to use it for swords and bows and hook shots and long shots and in Mario, you really just had to use it for movement and puzzle solving. Well, then they took all of that movement and puzzle solving and adapted it to a combat adventure game and made it work. And so, you know, when you look at things like that and you remember the time in which it was made on the console in which it was made, you have to kind of marvel at what Nintendo was able to accomplish with that game.
Well, yeah, I think we talked a lot about that in our first episode of this season and just how, you know, what game right now isn't using lock-on targeting for its fighting,
right? Or at least some version of aim assist, right? Like it's something like that, and it all kind of stems from the same direction.
Yeah, it's extremely innovative.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%. I think that nowadays any criticism that you can really level at Ocarina of Time is always going to come back to how would somebody have done it today, or how would somebody have done this thing more recently. And like, it's especially as the games get older and older, it's hard not to consider that while you're playing it, but you also have to set that kind of to one side and evaluate the game at least within a certain tolerance. You have to evaluate the game on the grounds in which it was created, if that makes sense. Like obviously there's some
definitely.
Yeah, there's some old games that made bad gameplay decisions, and like it was bad then and it's bad now, and you have to be honest about that. And you know, by the same token, if a game at the time, Ocarina of Time makes a variety of excellent gameplay decisions, you know, they tend to be kind of timeless. So yeah, it's difficult, especially when you consider that I personally think that N64 games, like that generation, that first 3D generation, N64 and PlayStation 1, those games have aged less gracefully than even say like Super Nintendo games have. You know,
I kind of agree with you on that. Like the polygons and some of the washed out colors and the awkwardness is just so much more apparent. Whereas on the SNES, things still feel smooth.
Yeah, well, and you have games even now that are like their whole shtick is that they replicate the style of an SNES game.
You know?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is like it's almost come full circle back around to where that's like a trope now. Is, you know, Hyper Light Drifter or
man, have you guys played Hyper Light Drifter?
No. I played
Have you?
Octopath Traveler. Was kind of like I played 10 hours of it and then got bored with it. But
Yeah, so if you guys are a fan of Zelda likes at all, games that have kind of similar conventions and gameplay to the Zelda series, go check out Hyper Light Drifter. It's on the Switch. I think it's like $15 on there, but
Cool.
it was one of those games that was funded in the whole wave of Kickstart. Like when people were kickstarting the heck out of tons of games, and lots of them, like people. Yeah, like these people would get hundreds of thousands of dollars, and then the game would actually never get released.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say, yikes.
Yeah, but this one,
a lot of ball dropping in that era.
yeah, no doubt, it was a nightmare. But this one actually went all the way through, got completed into a polished game, and the best way I can describe it is, it's got top-down Zelda exploration and design, like aesthetic sensibilities, with a higher skill ceiling on combat.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, cool.
Go check it out.
Yeah, that sounds fun. I have some friends, my closest friends that I am in a Nintendo Switch online family group with, who love Hyper Light Drifter. Speaking of which, can we just like slide into this? There's been so much outrage about the price of the Nintendo Virtual Console expansion pack. Now, I just found my way around it and started a family plan and got a bunch of my friends to sign up, and so it's not expensive at all. But what do you two think about the value of the N64 Virtual Console?
Are you outraged
on the Switch?
No, not. I am personally not. So like I said, my day job, I'm a business person, so I look at everything and I try to think about the things that go into that thing, right? Like what does it cost Nintendo to do this, right? And it takes. I don't know the ins and outs of the video game industry nearly as well as my own, but you have to just look at purely the man hours, the labor, the technology cost, the implementation, the servers. Like there is a lot that goes into video games these days, especially, remasters are almost like making a whole new game in some instances. Like what they did with Link's Awakening was they basically retextured every single pixel of that game.
Right.
You basically at that point are making a whole new game.
Did they even use any bones from the original game?
I think just the mechanics, like
for Link's Awakening.
I think it's just
the Link's Awakening remaster.
Yeah. I think that game was a ground up deal. Like obviously,
I think it was a ground up deal.
Yeah, they're trying to make everything feel as close as they can to how you remember it, but I think it's a completely new game for all intents and purposes.
And like Skyward Sword is not a new game by any means, but they designed an entirely new control mechanism. They transitioned, added in not only motion, but stick and button. So that's a whole new feature. They completely redid the way that you interact with Fi. They retextured every pixel of that game, which is a massive graphics overhaul.
Wow.
Like literally the work that Nintendo puts into their games. So no, for the long-winded answer of am I outraged about it? Not at all, because they put so much work into these games, into these things that they give to us, their fans, and their people deserve to make a living wage. Their people deserve to be compensated for their efforts, and I'm all about paying people to do their jobs and paying them fairly and in a way that they feel rewarded for.
So
Preach.
Matthew is right. I'm going to diverge from his answer just a bit. I'm not outraged. What I am is disappointed, and not even necessarily because of the price. If Nintendo wants to release virtual console titles through the Switch eShop for a certain amount of money per year, then I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I never had an issue paying, however, I think it was like the $20 a year to get Switch Online and then get all the NES and SNES games. And like, sure, the common criticism is that, well, this is like the 15th time I've bought this game on a different system, right? And and like, sure, I get that, but also
that's more of a testament to like how good the games are that you want to keep buying them on different systems. Like that's not Nintendo's problem. That's a you problem.
No, that's exactly it. I mean, that only stems from the fact that you like that game enough to rebuy it that many times. So
right.
do I think that Nintendo could do things that are a bit more customer forward in terms of like a continuing ecosystem of software ownership, like the way that Xbox does? Absolutely. I think that would be great. The trouble is that Nintendo does a lot of very Nintendo things, for better or worse. And if you're going to be a fan of Nintendo, you just have to kind of accept that as being fact. Like, Nintendo will do things that baffle the heck out of you on a decently regular basis. Now, when I say that I'm disappointed about the Nintendo 64 deal specifically, I'm not disappointed that it costs a lot. I mean, and you know, this kind of gets blown out of proportion a little bit. People say it's like, oh, $50 a year to play a few N64 games. Like, okay, back up. One, it's $30 a year once you add it to the $20 you're already paying for the Switch Online membership you already have. And this is for a single member plan, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. It's still a lot of money. My thing is, I would be totally fine paying that if they had managed to circumvent a lot of the technical issues that it seems like those games are having.
Right.
Like,
unfortunately, they're buggy.
Yeah.
And
I already got
laggy, and
we added a new section to our podcast called Zelda Minute for this season, and I've already been pinged by multiple people that I must cover Foggate, as it is now known as, in my Zelda Minute. So
yeah. Well, and
all right,
and it's ridiculous, right? Because like all this is emulation. All that you're playing is an emulated copy of their old hardware. They're not doing anything new to it. It's just being emulated on the Switch.
Right,
so
right.
if you're going to do that, then have some quality control and make sure that it's being emulated up to the standard of the original cartridge game on your Nintendo 64. The other,
you're right.
The other part of the other part of this for me, so I personally am not forking over, and I'm usually the first one to give Nintendo new money for anything. I am not forking over the extra money for this, even though I was very excited about it as an idea, for two reasons. One, it seems like half of the cost of this thing is tied in with the Animal Crossing DLC, the massive DLC that Animal Crossing, and that comes with this plan.
Yeah.
And so, like, obviously, if I was a big Animal Crossing player, then there would be more value in that for me, but I'm not. So, like, half of the value of this thing is kind of gone right off the top for me. And then the other thing is that of the list of games that they have on this service and have said that will be coming to this service, the ones that interested me the most were Star Fox, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Banjo-Kazooie, and Mario Kart 64. And with the exception of Mario Kart 64, I am able to play all of those things on other systems that I currently own, like especially my 3DS. Like if you've got a 3DS, you can play better versions of Star Fox, Ocarina of Time, and Majora's Mask than the ones that are being emulated on the Switch Virtual Console.
Do you like the 3DS version over, say, the original or the GameCube?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so do I. Yeah, I think they're.
Oh yeah, you prefer that?
I mean,
too?
the textures have been upgraded in a way that makes them more pleasing without taking anything away from the nostalgic feel of the game. And then they made just some small quality of life changes. In particular, thinking about like the how you can equip the iron boots with like a tap instead of having to go to the equipment screen. That really kind of helps the water temple level just function a lot more smoothly. They also added in some kind of like, and I think Max talked about this in your episode, some like color coordinated or some more directionality once you're in the water temple on how to get what you're looking for. And so they made some like quality of life changes like that I thought only improve on the game and don't really take away from anything that as a normal player of the game I find is interesting.
Cool.
Yeah, so I think I love everything about what they did with the Ocarina of Time 3DS remaster. I don't like the Majora's Mask 3D remaster personally. I think visually it's appealing just in the same way that Ocarina of Time is, but the changes that they made to boss mechanics throughout for all four bosses, all four main bosses, it really takes away a lot of from that game for me, as well as the changes to like Link to Zora Link and Goron Link. Like I just don't love the things that they did to some of those core mechanics from Majora's Mask. But I think the Ocarina of Time 3DS is really fantastic. I love it a lot.
Well, I will say that the value of that N64 online thing becomes a lot greater for me if that recent leak is to be believed, that they've got this crazy list of all these other games that are coming to it. The big ones for me are so if it's true that they're planning on drip feeding all 3 N64 Mario parties into that service.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Oh my God.
Yes. That would be life-changing, especially if I could play with my homies in other places.
Yeah, I mean,
That would be wonderful.
at that point, that extra cost comes to be worth much, much more to me. I would still have a difficult time getting around the fact that like the Animal Crossing of it, like I'm going to have a difficult time paying that extra money knowing that half of it is going towards the value of the Animal Crossing DLC, no matter what. Yeah. I really think I understand why they didn't separate those things out, because like they want that money, but come on. I mean, like, let me buy the N64 games yearly separate from the Animal Crossing DLC.
Well, I'm just wondering, I mean, in my mind though, I mean, just trying to like think through this. So, would you be willing to, I mean, most people would pay $30 for a large DLC like that, right? But I guess they'd only pay it like one time would be the biggest difference. But in my mind, I mean, I may be on the other side of this, but I think I've found that $30 additionally for the annual rate really, in my mind, I think the way they rolled it out was a failure of marketing, because if you look at all of the subscriptions that you partake in, on a regular basis, right? I think they're always framed in the what you pay per month. And I think if they would have came out and said, hey, anyone existing for $4 extra a month, you can get access to these 30 games or whatever they are at the current moment, I think that more people would have been like, oh, $4 a month. Like, that's not a big deal. But like people just see like 50 is like whoever on their team did all the currency conversions and then landed on, oh, it's going to be $50 was just a big dummy. Like, that's just such a poor decision from a, like in my mind, from a business perspective. I mean, like people hate round numbers like 50. People love numbers like 49 or $4 a month. Like that's where you hook people in. Right. And I think that, it'll probably blow over some time. And people will do like what Patrick did and have a group of 8 people who he knows they're all in a family plan. Or if we find out in the distant future that they are going to roll out additional DLCs for free that come with this, that's where it would be really interesting to see. I mean, Animal Crossing is a flagship game of theirs, and the fact that they're giving, I mean, one way to see of it, like if you're interested in the N64 Sega bit of it, you're essentially getting Animal Crossing DLC for free or vice versa. That's probably a large fan base. And if they can come out with another DLC for like 1 or 2 games, like over the next like 2 or 3 years that's sitting there, like maybe if we get like a Mario Kart game for the Switch and they come out with DLCs there, I think they will, be on the other side of this and be happy with those choices. But yeah, right now it seems like it's just, I think a lot of poor, I think it's poor marketing for the most part.
I will say I agree with you. So if there was, for instance, to be some DLC so like Breath of the Wild had the Champions Ballad DLC. If Breath of the Wild 2 comes out and they have their DLC for that and it's lumped into the expanded online plan the way the Animal Crossing one was, well, then that becomes a whole different ballgame for me personally. Like, so I guess that is that element of the value proposition is 100% down to like, the individual tastes of the players that you're marketing to. Which again, I think that's like a clumsy way to market it, right? But in fairness to Nintendo, tons and tons and tons of people play Animal Crossing, so maybe it's not like that much of a stretch. But
yeah, I don't play Animal Crossing, but again, I got around the $50 thing, and I don't mind giving Nintendo my money. That really doesn't bum me out. I know that like when they announce a game, it's probably not going to come out when they tell us it's going to come out the first time.
Well, that's because they don't crunch, right? They don't do a lot of the other things. I think, one of the comments I just wanted to make on what Matt said earlier was talking about just kind of like, paying people for the work they're doing, right? And
yeah,
in my mind, this is a new revenue stream for Nintendo that is going to allow them to continue to pay their developers, pay their employees, pay their executives, good solid wages, not go into crunch mode, do things like, I don't think many game studios would take something like Metroid Prime 4 and be like, it's in development, we're not happy with it, we're scrapping the entire thing, we're going to start over, and it's still going to take us just as long to get it done. But they do that because it seems like culturally they are more structured that way as compared to some of the other game studios that we've just heard horror stories come out of when it comes to crunch and what that does to the people that are working at the studios.
Yeah.
I like
yeah,
it.
well, I mean, the thing is, like, when you talk about Zelda games specifically, sure, those each get delayed several times before they finally come out.
Always.
And like, who gives a crap? Because has there ever been a bad Zelda game? Like,
no.
Right, exactly.
And that's the thing, right? I mean, their worst game might be an 8.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like an arguable 8. And that's pretty incredible for an entire franchise, so.
Like Lyndon and I have said,
pretty incredible.
Even the worst Zelda game is still one of the best video games out there. So, yeah, it just is what it is.
So play Zelda 2 and see if that holds firm there, right? That's
Okay. Well, that's fair. That's totally fair. We haven't done that yet.
I know. I'm like, when are we going to talk about it? So I was excited for the Virtual Console to drop, but not nearly as excited as I am when a new system drops. I know that I was standing in line to get a Switch at midnight when it came out. Do you two have any memories of like the day that you bought a console? Did you ever wait in line at night at the store?
So I've gotten a lot of games at midnight on release. I have not done that with consoles a whole bunch. I think I'm trying to remember all the main consoles I've ever had. There was the N64, Xbox 360, Xbox One. I had a Wii. I didn't get any of those even within their first 2 months on the market, except for the Switch, which I absolutely got day one.
Nice.
I had it pre-ordered. Yeah, I was like, doors open. I went in and grabbed my copy. I was so excited for the Switch because I think we were all in such a down place with Nintendo coming off of the Wii U, right?
Yeah, the general vibe was don't mess this next one up or you're gonna not be Nintendo anymore in our hearts.
And that was like a real fear. And I mean, like, yeah, I mean, I'm sure you guys remember the Switch, like we think of it now as this crazy unmitigated success, like truly one of the most successful consoles Nintendo's ever created. And certainly one of the most loved and widely adopted. But that was very much not a foregone conclusion in the lead up to its launch. Like there were still a lot of naysayers out there who were just like, well, sure, it looks kind of cool, but sorry about the train over here, by the way.
No, that's great.
It's all good.
Are you guys
I love
on the
trains.
patio today?
It's like 65 degrees outside tonight.
Gorgeous.
So
That's great. That's great.
Little train ambiance never hurt anybody.
yeah, unless you're trying to record a podcast, in which case it could stand to like chill out a bit, but whatever.
Whatever.
But anyway, there were naysayers who were like, yeah, I mean, can we really trust Nintendo to get this one right? And the thing is, the Switch comes out, sure, it's only got a few games that you can really play on it. It's kind of feature light, but it did the one thing that it was advertised to do flawlessly. It was a hybrid system. You can dock it and then you can immediately pick it up and play it handheld, and it works like magic. And two, it launched with what some would call what I would call the greatest video game of all time, and I think what most people would say is one of the greatest video games of all time in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. It was incredible. I mean, I also got Bomberman, and I don't know why I got Bomberman because I've never really enjoyed Bomberman that much, but it was fun. I like put it in, I played it for 3 seconds and was like, okay, can we play Zelda now, please? I think I had to wait until my friend came over.
Cleanser,
my friend Tim.
Just a little
we were like
cleanser for you.
determined to play it together. Yeah, I wanted to hold it in my hands, and like if it didn't work, I wanted it to not work with Bomberman.
Yeah, my Switch was essentially a Breath of the Wild machine for that first 3 months.
Yeah.
But then there was that crazy renaissance where like indie developers figured out that you could put your indie game on the Switch and it would sell like 3 times what it sells on any other platform combined.
Uh-huh.
And then there were lots of great ones to choose from, like Hyperlight Drifter and Shovel Knight and all that. Like so many great indie games.
Ooh, Shovel Knight's
I played
great.
that recently.
Shovel Knight gets a lot of mechanics from The Adventure of Link.
Top-down stabby boy.
Yeah, the top-down stabby boy, the thrust.
The up
As
and the
it
down
were.
thrust. Oh,
We always love a good stabby boy.
I love a good stabby boy. Oh, and just kind of randomly, Troidal Power wanted to tell you that that you are absolute treasures to them. Just so you know.
Troidal Power, you are a treasure to us as well. We hear the treasure song anytime you come around. Thank you, Troidal Power. That was perfect. Perfectly on pitch.
I know, and Patrick will fix it in post, which is great. You know what I mean? That's the best thing.
I'll just fix it in post. I'll auto-tune myself in post. And I'm the musically inclined one of the two of us, but I never claimed to be a singer. I think that in our intro I have Ben doing the banana.
You do. Yeah,
I think that's you, because you're just like, you can't sing. It's so funny.
Yeah.
I love it.
So
It invites everybody else to try.
absolutely. So just as we look to kind of wrap here at the top of the hour, what was there anything else that you guys were thinking on, that you want to kind of promote, talk about, coming up with? I know you'll have a new season coming out sometime relatively soon. Anything you want to tell folks about?
Yeah, I think really our biggest thing is we're wrapping up Skyward Sword, our third season of the podcast. We've got we're actually about to record the Skykeep and the Demise boss fight tonight, and then next week we're going into our Sacred Realms recap episode, where we're gonna just kind of give our overall thoughts of the game and rank it wherever we believe that it lands on our list.
Very nice.
Right now it's going up against Ocarina of Time and Link's Awakening, so not a huge list, but both real stacked games. So it'll be interesting to see where that lands. But other than that, I think really our only thing is we follow us on Twitter and Instagram if you feel so inclined. Our Patreon, all of them are Sacred Realms Pod or at Sacred Realms. So just give us a follow, send us some DMs, tag us on Twitter. We like to get into conversations with you guys.
Yeah, our so episode 1 of season 4, which is sure looking like a Link to the Past at this point.
Yeah,
will be dropping on Wednesday, November 17th. So
cool.
There's that.
Well, thank you, Matt and Lyndon, so much for joining us. It's truly been a pleasure getting to know you, and thanks everyone at home for listening. Make sure to check out the Sacred Realms podcast, and we'll see you next time for another episode of
Hyrule Podcasters.
Yes, I love it.
Thanks for plugging into this week's episode of
Hyrule Podcasters.
Hey, listen. If you like what you're hearing and want to support us directly, you can head over to our Patreon for early access to episodes, exclusive Discord benefits, behind-the-scenes videos, and more.
If you'd like updates, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Hyrule Podcasters and Twitter at Hyrule Podcaster. Links to everything can be found in the show notes. If you'd like to play along with us, you can find Ocarina on Nintendo Switch's Virtual Console. It's also available on the N64, GameCube, Wii, Wii U, and there's a remastered version you can play on the 3DS. Let us know how you're enjoying the game.
Please do. And be sure to rate and review us in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you happen to listen.
As always, this episode was produced by your co-host, Patrick, and we'd like to thank LT Headtrip for composing original music for the podcast, including our theme song.
You're very welcome. Join us next week as we continue our journey through The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time.
And action!
Yes.
Speaking of marketing, who is that over there? Is somebody trying to sell us something on this episode?
Oh, did he join the audience? All the way from, is he hanging out with Bill and the baby?
Oh my gosh,
What
it's
is he
Beetle.
doing?
I don't know. Let's see what he's going to sell us this week. All right, we're just doing an ad break real quick. I totally forgot to do that. A half an hour in. I don't know how long
we're
we've been
50
doing.
minutes into the episode.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm like looking at the time. Like I think Maybe I'll sneak it in there earlier. Whatever.
Yeah,
Nobody cares.
Oh man.
We usually don't do ads on the interviews either. Just so you know, Patrick.
Oh, we usually don't do
We
ads on the
don't. No, we
interviews?
just let them roll.
Well,
That's good.
does anybody need to take a 2-second break before we come back in?
We're good.
All right.
I'm good. Okay, we're coming back in. Here we go. Thanks,
Wow,
Beetle.
You picked a really, really interesting time to jump in there to try and tell us something. right when it sounded like Matt was gonna reflect on the failed marketing efforts of Nintendo.
I think we lost the train of thought over here. I will say I agree.